Do you feel like game collecting is too cutthroat? I lost motivation for game hunting due to it feeling like a competition.
Most collecting markets are cutthroat. I've seen it at the swap meet. Hell, there's guys that like Matchbox cars. I used to hang out with a guy that tried to explain to me about the different Matchbox cars, the red lines, even the limited editions, and it's the same. People are all the same. They just like different things. That's what it comes down to. You're always going to have people that are way competitive about what they collect, or they're cutthroat and how they do business, or how they try to screw people over in comic books and probably records even.
Oh yeah,
trying
no,
to get
certainly.
record. So it's no different in game collecting. So you have to know that going into any collector's market that there's going to be competition, especially now when in the past, we'll even say 5 years, it's quadrupled the amount of people, if not quintupled the amount of people getting into retro games. You know, like it's just so much more. So you're going to expect it to be more competitive, just trying to find less and less out there. Now, I will say this, though. A lot of the cutthroat, though, are the people that come in, the speculators, and I would call them the profiteers, that come in just to screw everyone else over and then, you know, treat it as a business first and foremost, and only, and that's it. That's where a lot of the cutthroat part sort of feeds into everything else. And I think there's a lot of, I don't want to say bad vibes, but the energy, we'll just say, of that kind of maybe can infect the collectors. Maybe I'm being too dramatic when it comes.
No,
you know,
I don't think
I
so.
don't know.
Because what I would say is this. I mean, I did not leave collecting as, like, serious collecting because it was cutthroat. Like you said, it's in everything. I left collecting because I hit a burnout and I was getting priced out of that hobby. However, I do feel like Pat's right. There is it's going to be like that in any collecting market. However, I feel like the personality and the general vibe among different collecting markets can vary greatly. I do feel like video game collecting right now is very, very shady's not the word. Slimy on occasion is more the word I'm looking for. There's a lot of shit going on with video game collecting that drives me nuts that I don't see in record collecting.
It's a lot of secrecy. It's a lot of backdoor shit you never see or you just hear about in terms of, I don't know if there's a lot of price manipulation going on in records. I don't know, but I hear stories that are told by me by multiple people about stuff that goes on where it's like, oh, it's just, you look at, then you see that same person that gets accused of it and you're just like, yeah, I could see it.
So I can say this,
You know.
in records, there are definitely people who are profiteers, people who buy up stuff and they want to sell it for more money, but there's a lot less of that secret backdoor shady shit going on.
Is there people that corner the market with games or try to?
You mean records?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there is. I'm not going to say there isn't. In my experience with what I look for, no, not really. The thing is records were produced in humongous amounts. So there's also not that same limited availability.
They weren't a lot of them thrown out though from the 60s and 70s though. Still,
You still find them. I mean, whether they're in good shape or not is different. But all I'm saying is even if they're trying to get more money than they should for a record, I find that the people in record collecting, just for an example, are a lot more upfront than
and maybe in a record store they won't move as quickly.
Yes.
Like there's a lot less record collectors, so maybe that same Beatles album will sit there for 6 months versus less than a week.
And no one's trying to get money for a Beatles album unless they're dumb because they're all over. But yeah,
it's the first old group I thought of that Frank loves and you hate. That's the only reason I'm throwing it out there. And Frank will never let you forget that.
No, he won't.
And probably never respect you because of that. No, I'm kidding. Frank still wants you over for dinner. He open invite any Sunday.
Let me know when he's making sweet sausage and sauce again.
Oh, and meatballs? He hasn't done that in a while. That's more of
If he
likes, you know what? Traditionally for the playoffs, when the playoff starts,
okay.
For some reason, it's the weirdest thing. It's like, when playoff starts, he'll make like 4 pounds of sauce and meatballs and
I love spicy, but whatever sausages he used, when he did that sweet sausage in his sauce, holy shit.
Was that the last time he came over? That was like 2.5 years ago.
No, it wasn't the last time, but it was definitely one of the more memorable times.
You haven't been over Frank's in like 2 years. It's been a long time.
It has been.
Only you are to blame for that, sir.
It's true, but
it hurts Frank's feelings on some level.
It hurts mine, but the only day I have to socialize with people is Sunday.
Well, then Frank socialize with him one Sunday of the year.
Okay. Or I'll have Frank come over and play video games with us.
Yeah, that'll work out well.